Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Ann Emanuel. 5 guards have already been attacked at the Elmira Correctional Facility since the start of this year. Big Fox's Josh Feldberg reports on why these attacks may be happening.
According to the New York State Correctional Officers Police Benevolent Association, or NSCOPA, 3 separate incidents have taken place at Elmira Correctional Facility that have resulted in 5 officers being injured. Data collected by NSCOPA revealed that 2022 was the most violent year in correctional facilities in New York State history. With 2023 just beginning, it appears that not much has changed. The first incident this year occurred on January 6th when an inmate struck a correctional officer in the face while being escorted back to his cell. The second incident occurred on January 12th. An officer initiated a random pat and frisk for contraband on an inmate. The inmate initially complied but later struck the officer multiple times in the face and head. A second officer assisted in detaining the individual. The third incident this year occurred on January 13th. During random cell searches, an inmate struck an officer several times in the head once his cell door was opened. 3 officers forced the inmate to the ground who remained combative. Many are pointing to the HALT Act as the source for the uptick in violence, including NSCOPA President Michael Powers.
Basically, the HALT Act has done nothing to improve the lives of the people who reside in the New York State correctional facilities. In fact, it's done completely the opposite. HALT severely limits and in some cases eliminates the ability to remove and separate dangerous individuals from general population for any meaningful amount of time.
As inmate attacks continue in correctional facilities across the state, some believe repealing the HALT Act can stop the violence. Josh Feldberg, Big Fox News, Elmira.
And now a look at the power of social media. Previously, a financial dispute between businesses would either have to go to court or just be let go. But Big Fox's Maggie Hall spoke to a local family-owned business who says thanks to social media, their money dispute is now bringing in more business.
My name is Eric Flynn. I'm the owner of CNY Bedbug Extermination. We're a local extermination company here in Elmira.
This power of social media story began when the family-owned and operated local extermination business serviced a local hotel. The business wasn't paid by the hotel and didn't receive any communication about the invoices that were sent. Owner Eric Flynn says this went on for months until he made the choice to take to social media.
I went to bed at maybe 9:30 and it had 200 and some shares on it, and when I woke up in the morning at 6, it was over 1,000 shares that it had, so it kind of spread like wildfire.
The ironic thing is now, not only will Eric and his business most likely receive their money from the hotel, but due to the widespread attention that his post has received, they've gotten more clients.
Everybody has been behind us 100%. We get a lot of messages behind the scenes of support. I've had a lot of landlords and businesses reach out to say it's nice to see this, that a business is standing up for themselves and that I'm going to get their business moving forward.
His post has received national and international attention from Tennessee all the way to the UK. If you do get bed bugs, you can call a professional exterminator, and CNY will do free extermination for a family in need.
CNYBedbugExtermination.com is the website, and my phone number is 607-591-4563, and you will always get me when you call or text.
Eric is expecting more calls and texts due to the power of social media. Maggie Hall, Big Fox News, Elmira.
Ithaca Regal Cinema is expecting to close, along with 4 other upstate New York locations. Regal Cinema parent company, Cineworld, has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Ithaca Mall Stadium, Buffalo Elmwood Center, Rochester Stadium 12, and Williamsville Stadium 13 are the 4 upstate New York locations closing their doors. This will leave only 33 Regal theaters open in New York. SUNY Geneseo students are constructing a library in Ghana in honor of a former professor who passed away. The Joanna Kirk Library is being built in Tamale, Ghana, one of the poorest regions in the country. Joanna Kirk spent most of her life helping others in the developing world and led many study abroad trips to Ghana. For more information about this project, you can go to GoFundMe.com and search for Joanna Kirk Library. First Assistant District Attorney James Nasatka announced he will be running for District Attorney of Bradford County following the retirement of Albert Andre. Nasatka has been working in the Bradford County DA's office since 2020. Nasatka was born in Easton, Pennsylvania, and has lived in Mount Bethel for most of his life. 2 people are dead after their small plane crashed. Investigators say the plane had taken off from JFK Airport and was headed to Cuyahoga Airport in Richmond Heights on Thursday. At some point during the flight, the pilot reported possible engine issues. Investigators say shortly thereafter, air traffic controllers lost radar and radio contact with the plane. The plane eventually crashed and was found in a tree near Rye Lake. 2 people on board were killed. Their identities have not been released at this time. The FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board are investigating. COVID-19 cases are peaking again in China, Japan, and some areas of the U.S. But looking ahead, officials expect to be able to downgrade the virus soon. Christina Coleman has more.
In China, the start of the Lunar New Year means increased travel. All the exposure associated with public forms of transportation coming at a bad time. A report by the World Health Organization shows just last week, China had the highest number of COVID-19 hospitalizations since the pandemic began.
We have just lifted the control, and it seems other countries are still not welcoming us. There are now many tourists everywhere, so I want to wait and see.
In Japan, the prime minister saying he will downgrade COVID-19 status in the spring to levels equivalent to seasonal flu. That move would ease mask wearing and isolation rules. But currently, the country is fighting its 8th COVID-19 wave, the latest and largest group of COVID-19 deaths attributed to elderly patients.
We'll deal with the 8th wave of outbreak with the utmost effort by enhancing infectious measures against the spread of the virus and securing medical care.
Here in the U.S., cases are spiking in the Northeast, but parents in Connecticut are upset with the proposed bill that would allow anyone 12 or older to get a vaccine without parental consent.
If my son decided to get a vaccine that I was not in favor of, what happens when he gets the reaction? Is he going to take it upon himself to call his pediatrician and say, what's going on? Is this normal? No.
Friday marks 3 years since the first case of COVID-19 was confirmed in the U.S., and that was in Washington State. In Los Angeles, Christina Coleman, Fox News.
Still ahead, we have your weekend forecast. Plus,
dry January may be ending soon, but before you pick up your next alcoholic drink, health officials say you should know the risks. I'm Ashley Strohmeyer. Details coming up.
Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Hi everyone, welcome. I'm meteorologist Sam Ryan. We'll have a chance at a few flurries out there still during the overnight. And notice by 6 a.m. temperatures down to around 29 degrees. The lowest wind chill will be around 20 and maybe 19. So watch out for a few slick spots out there as those temperatures briefly flirt with just below the freezing level. And we'll warm a little bit up throughout the afternoon here Saturday. It'll be a fairly quiet afternoon. Then we have a system moving in on Sunday, and it looks to spread snow showers across the region starting in the afternoon and continuing all the way through the overnight, wrapping up by Monday morning. Then we have another system on Wednesday. Now, both of these could produce some plowable snow. Here's a chance of precipitation through the overnight. You see around noon, all that diminishes. Only a 20% chance. Again, flurries are possible. I want to show you the big picture, though. I mentioned 2 different waves. So here's the first one, starting this off Saturday. So that's producing a lot of snow across Kansas, get my states right, into Missouri, and then lifting more moisture up. Now this is what we call the GFS model, the USA model, and it shows kind of a mixed precipitation stretching into portions of the state. It looks though the Euro is much more reliable and it's showing all snow. And then we have another one developing across the Rockies behind that, and that's going to be a little more potent. Again, that moves in sometime on Wednesday. So looking closer to home here, this again is the USA model. It's a little bit warmer than the European. So some of the details are still a bit uncertain on the heaviest snowfall, but based on this warmer US model that tends to not be as accurate, it is showing potential 2 to 4 inches of snowfall locally here and over towards Corning, could see that same thing, 2 to 4 inches. But then notice you get just off to the east, it gets up to 5, 6, maybe 7 inches of snow. Again, that's just into Monday. Then we have that other system, but the European model indicates we could have close to around 8, 9 inches of snow with the first wave and possibly duplicating that again on Wednesday. So that's something to keep in mind. Again, the details still kind of ironing those out a little bit. We'll wake up Saturday morning, though, a quiet afternoon in store for us with that chance of morning flurries, perhaps a few peaks of sunshine up to around 35 to 36 degrees for a daytime high. That's just above the average for this time of the year. And then Sunday we cloud right back up and we'll have that system moving in with snow showers developing late. Notice the overnight temperatures dropping down to 30, 36 here on Monday. As we look ahead, we'll have that potential of wintry mix. So again, this is kind of equating both models. The Euro does show a little bit cooler Wednesday with more accumulating snowfall Wednesday into Thursday. Something we'll have to keep an eye on. It all depends on the track and the strength of the system, and they're just small scale features that could have pretty big impacts.
More layoffs in the tech sector and beyond. The FAA says what caused last week's system outage and a barely driven 1979 Pontiac Firebird is about to take a trip across the auction block. CJ Papa has today's business briefs.
Google parent company Alphabet is the latest tech giant to announce a major round of job cuts. The company is slashing roughly 12,000 jobs, reducing staff by 6%. The decision marks the company's biggest ever round of layoffs as it faces a grim economic outlook. Other big tech companies like Microsoft, Amazon, and Meta are also downsizing as the industry braces for recession. In other layoff news, home furnishings company Wayfair says it will lay off 1,750 employees, 10% of its global workforce. Most of the employees are in its corporate operation. The Wayfair is making cuts. The company says its market share continues to improve. The FAA is blaming contractors for the system outage earlier this month that led to a nationwide ground stop. The agency says workers unintentionally deleted files, leading to over 11,000 flight delays and cancellations. And you won't find a car more valuable than this one. A 1979 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am is set to hit the auction block with less than 37 miles driven over the past 44 years. Restora Muscle Car made the discovery after digging up this barn find in Nebraska. The original price from the 70s, just over $8,000. Safe to say it's worth a bit more in 2023. That's business. I'm CJ Papa.
Well, listen to this. Before you toast to your latest accomplishment or throw back a cold one at a sports game, health officials are sounding the alarm about consuming alcoholic beverages. Ashley Strohmeyer reports.
How much alcohol is considered a safe amount? Well, our neighbors to the north say absolutely none at all. The Canadian Center on Substance Abuse and Addiction is issuing new health guidance you may want to hear. While officials caution against drinking alcohol, they say if you are going to indulge, consuming more than 2 standard alcoholic beverages a week can pose health risks. Those health complications can include increased risk for colon and breast cancer, as well as heart disease and stroke. And the risk factors rise with each drink you take. For reference, one standard drink consists of either a 12-ounce bottle of beer or hard cider, a 5-ounce glass of wine, or a shot glass worth of liquor. Besides promoting better sleep, going sober offers a slew of other health benefits.
The condition of your skin, increased amount of energy, weight loss.
Meanwhile, rosé. As we near the end of dry January, some companies catering to those looking for non-alcoholic wines and beers have noticed growing demand.
Dry January has become more and more popular, and last year we really felt that effects.
Business owners expect interest in non or low alcoholic drinks to keep rising as more people make abstaining from alcohol a permanent habit instead of a month-long trend. Drink market analysis company IWSR estimates the non-alcoholic drink market in the U.S. will grow by more than 25% by 2026. In New York, Ashley Strohmeyer, Fox News.
Still ahead, a new clinical trial underway to prove scalp cooling caps can be effective in women of color to prevent hair loss during chemotherapy. How the treatment works, coming up. A new clinical trial is underway in New York City to prove scalp cooling caps can be effective in women of color. The goal of the cap is to help prevent hair loss in women undergoing cancer treatments. Sharon Crowley has more.
Hello. Almost 59, Westchester County grandmother Alta Grace Pellissier has a lot to live for, as you can see.
It's Mahalia and Esther.
Diagnosed in June with breast cancer, she underwent grueling rounds of chemotherapy.
So how did the first cycle of chemo go?
Good, not so bad.
Good. Tell me what you felt. Any nausea, any vomiting?
Yes, a little nausea, no vomiting.
The IV treatment is used to kill cancer cells, but it can also destroy hair follicles, causing hair to fall out.
It's hard to lose your hair. It's hard.
Alta Grace agreed to be part of a clinical trial specifically for women of color at Montefiore Einstein Cancer Center.
Scalp cooling can be effective and used in women with various hair types, especially the more textured, curlier, kinkier hair types that we tend to see more in women of color.
Dr. Beth McClellan is the director of supportive oncodermatology at Montefiore Einstein Cancer Center, and she's leading this clinical trial.
We know that hair loss really plays a huge psychological impact on all people, especially women.
In fact, the doctor says some women decline doing chemotherapy altogether just to save their hair. It's something that, of course, can be very dangerous, even deadly, to forego life-saving treatment.
A lot of our patients are trying to work, raise their family, go about their normal daily routines while they're getting their treatment. And hair loss really puts a public face, really labels them as a cancer patient to the outside world.
Doctors place a cold cap on the patient's head before and after chemo IVs. The idea is by reducing blood flow to the scalp, the cap prevents chemotherapy drugs from destroying the hair follicles. The process can take up to 6 hours.
The first 31st minute, it's hard because it's really, really freezing.
Alta Grace made it through, and you can see she still has her hair. The next step in her treatment is surgery. She'll face it just like the clinical trial, with strength and the support of her family. Sharon Crowley, Fox 5 News.
A new Gallup poll finds a majority of Americans are not impressed with the nation's healthcare system. According to the 2022 Annual Health and Healthcare Survey, 52% of participants believe healthcare in the United States is subpar. Now, this is the first time healthcare in the U.S. has been rated not good enough in the poll's 20-year history. 21% believe it's poor, which is a record high. The United States Department of Agriculture is changing guidelines for organic products. These revisions come after some farmers have sold non-organic products as organic. Currently, more shoppers are opting for cleaner food. Producers are taking advantage of this since organic food is generally priced higher. To be certified organic, toxins, persistent pesticides, and antibiotics, among others, cannot be used on products. Now the USDA updates will require certificates on all organic imports and increase inspections of certified businesses labeling their products as organic. Well, listen to this. Intermittent fasting may not be the key to weight loss. A report in the Journal of the American Heart Association suggests that if you are trying to lose weight, what you eat is more important than when you eat. The study analyzed eating patterns of hundreds of adults from different health systems and found that, quote, total overall caloric intake is the major driver of weight gain. More research may be needed into the best way to lose weight, since some doctors criticize the effectiveness of the study, which left out exercise as a weight loss factor. The United Kingdom Food Advisor says people shouldn't bring cake to the office anymore. The UK Food Standards Agency chairwoman compared sweet treats in the office to passive smoking. Susan Jebb says they both bring harm to others. In an interview with the UK Times, she said it's a struggle to rely on willpower to not overeat sweets if people in the office are always bringing them in. Stay with us. We'll have more after the break. And we want to leave you with a sweet smile tonight. There's a sweet way to celebrate Disney's 100th year anniversary. Cereal company Post Consumer Brands is releasing 2 limited edition cereals in honor of Disney. The flavors include a Mickey Mouse shaped fruity cereal and confetti cake, sounds delicious, which comes in a special box or a limited edition tin for $40. The company has yet to announce when the cereals will be available for purchase. I'm Harriet Wallace. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great weekend.